Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the In Between. I'm your host, Lachey Young, and we are here on Swag Her Magazine. Now, tonight's conversation is a very, very personal conversation for me. Um, I am hoping that this helps a lot of people that may have not or don't know how to be their authentic self. And being that it's Pride Month, this is for anyone, honestly, because anyone can relate to this topic. But this is mainly focused for the LGBTQ community. Now, I want to begin by saying something that makes some people uncomfortable. There are people who have spent their entire lives asking for permission to exist. You've asked for permission to love, you asked for permission to be seen, you asked for permission to express yourself, to be honest, to be happy. And for many members of the LGBTQ community, that permission never came. Some were told directly that who they are was wrong. Others received the message through silence, through rejection, through jokes, through religion, culture, family expectations, through fear. So tonight, I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to debate anyone's existence. I don't want to talk about the human cost of hiding because every time someone feels forced to hide who they are, there is a price to pay, and eventually that bill comes due. Now, with that, I want to jump right into this conversation because I can relate to this conversation. Um, a lot of you may not know, but some of you may. Um, I have been married to two men. I've been married three times now. I have kids with three men. And so, of course, my life was not always as a lesbian. I've always felt earlier in my life that I was bi, but because of some issues that I had with my mom, um, I never embraced that part of me until I got older, which is literally like in my 30s, and decided that I'm going to live my truth. And a lot comes with that, okay? Many people think hiding begins when someone realizes they're gay, a lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or queer. But often hiding starts much earlier. It starts the moment a child notices they're different. Before they even have words for it, before they understand sexuality, before they understand gender identity, they simply know something about me feels different. Then they begin watching, listening, observing. They hear that that's disgusting. That's not normal. No, it's no, not it is not in his family. Boys don't do that. Girls shouldn't act like that. And suddenly they learn something powerful. Some truths are welcome, others are dangerous. So they begin editing themselves, not because they're dishonest, because they're just simply trying to survive. Imagine learning at 10 years old that certain parts of you might cost you love. What does that do to a person? What does that teach them about themselves? One of the greatest costs of is exhausting. Not physical exhaustion, but emotional exhaustion. Now, let me tell you about me more. Um, I decided to, like I said, walk into my truth. I always knew. Um, those around me that were super, super close to me knew. I remember telling one of my best friends when I decided that I was going to embrace who I am and not care about what anybody felt, said, or whatever. And she already knew. And we had been friends since 10th grade. This is, I want to say, my like literally my early 30s. No, actually, I think my late 20s. I think I might have been like 29. Um, and it became exhausting. Like once she said she knew, it became exhausting because um, I was still trying to please people. I still had that needing to please people. And that's not a really good feeling at all, being a people pleaser, especially when it comes to your livelihood. And church. Church was another factor. I remember telling my community at that time, and I was told that's not what I'm supposed to be. I got prayer. Um, I even was told one time that my son, my 13-year-old, because I had just not too long had him, wasn't going to accept me if I decided to live my truth. Now, if you follow me on any social media, you know my son absolutely loves me. But just imagine if I didn't decide to still go ahead, and I'm telling you, it was hard. It was the hardest decision I have ever made in my entire life because I had way more people against me being myself than I did for those that were with me. And on top of that, I felt like a lot of friendships changed, even those that said they knew who I was, changed once I decided to be who I believe my authentic self is. But just imagine if I didn't, just imagine if I didn't walk into my life the way I wanted to, because one, my kids are very, very important to me. That could have easily been a decision that would have stopped everything because no parent wants their kid not to like their lifestyle because then most likely they're not going to want to be around you. But just imagine if I would have um, if I would have not, if I would not have, if I, I'm sorry, if I would not have walked into it because of my son, that would have been 13 more years of being exhausted, 13 more years of feeling like I am stuck in bondage, 13 more years of not being able to be my authentic self because of the fear of what someone said my child would not accept me in this lifestyle. And there is plenty of people like that are in this life secretly and terrified to be their authentic self because they're not safe. They don't feel comfortable. Um, Fear is a real thing when it comes to being your authentic self. It don't even matter in the LGBT community. I mean, all the way across the board, without a label, without an identity. It is terrifying for some to be able to be their authentic self because everybody would not be able to handle their authentic self. But let me also tell you what I learned. By me not walking into exactly who I was when I knew, I literally walked into another marriage, even though I knew 100% that I was attracted to females. 100%. Now, my spouse at the time knew because he's my best friend. So I think I told him something about it. But I feel like we had the conversation briefly. But at the same time, because of who he was, I didn't feel like I was going to act on it because of the respect that I had for him. But let me tell you something. Eventually, that goes out the window. Eventually, you're going to get tempted even more because, to walk into who you are. And eventually, someone's going to get hurt or somebody's. And I can tell you, in my case, two people got hurt because I wanted to be myself, but I didn't want to lose my church family at that time. Um, I didn't want to lose friends. I didn't want people talking about me even more than what they were already. And then eventually, I wanted to do what I really wanted to do for myself. And but I still didn't handle it right because I felt um like I was hiding it enough, but I hurt two of my best friends. I hurt my now wife, and then I hurt my then ex-husband. And granted, it took us a long time to get past the hurt on both sides, and the common denominator was me. It wasn't him. It wasn't her. It was me not being sure or being afraid to be sure. Let me say that. being afraid to be sure who I was and who I wanted to be. I am telling you, living a double life will cost you. You can think that you're going to get away with certain things and how you treat certain people when you're unsure. I don't play with karma anymore. I did. I used to play with karma hard. Okay. I will play with her hard. And I'm gonna say it to her because she's vicious. Um, but it she got a way of making you sit down and think. Because don't nobody want back what they gave out. Not only was people hearts broken, um, trust is broken. I could have easily lost both people because I didn't want to just make a solid decision and stand with it. Now, granted, I didn't, but it was a very, very, very hard journey of recovering on both sides. Me and my wife had to take a break and really, really like sit with ourselves before we could get into a relationship or see if we even wanted to after everything. And I mean, this was like 2 years of this, right? And then my son's father, who everybody knows, if you know me, you know he is one of my best friends to this day. We don't have to talk on the phone. We don't got to hang out, nothing. But he is somebody that definitely makes the world way better being in it and being a part of my world as my best friend. I could have 100% ruined that just for the simple fact of me just not being 1000% honest. I was like about 75. That ain't enough. It's not enough. And I understand when it comes to the LGBT community, it's way more fears that come with it because you don't know what you're going to get. It's easier to hide who you are or think you're hiding who you are than it is to be just straight out honest. And I am telling you today, this June 11th for Pride Month, if you find yourself, and this ain't no recruitment for the LGBT community or nothing like that, I don't want anyone else to hurt anybody else because you are afraid to be your authentic self. It is scary, yes, very scary. It can be lonely, very lonely, because some people may turn on you, 100%. But what I will tell you is if you decide to walk in whatever truth, whatever your authentic self is, whether it is in the LGBT community or outside the LGBT community, if you lose people because you want to be your authentic self, those are not the people that you need in your corner ever. Those type of people will be the people that will watch you get successful, will cheer you on, and then as soon as someone pays them enough, they will turn on you. They will throw you under every bus they possibly can because they're not really for you. But the community that is for you, I don't care if it's on one side or the other, will be there. I remember telling I call her my best friend, but she started off as my mentor, Lisa DeJesus. And I plan on having her on just so we could talk about that. We call her mother. And she has a lot of not biological children, but she has made a safe place for people like me, the gay community. Like she has a whole bunch of LGBT children that she did not birth, but she gave us a safe place to be ourselves. I remember telling her when I really started caring for Joy, and she didn't say, "Oh my God," nothing. She looked me clear, straight in the face, and said, "All this means is I have to love you more because it's already hard being black. It's already hard being a black woman. But then to be a lesbian woman makes it even harder. So I need to make sure you know that I support you and I love you." And she has been by my side ever since. Prior as my mentor, But when I tell you, she loved me harder. She gave me breaks in areas so I could develop myself. She gave me a space where I could find out what independence was. Even though I watched so many black women in my life that were over me or around me um, be independent, it's totally different than someone coming and taking you by the hand and literally showing you what independence is. I remember my first divorce. That was prior to me telling her that I decided I wanted to be into the LGBT community. Um, I my first divorce, I didn't know what to do, and she helped me get my first home. And she has been with me every step of the way. So I say all that to say there is people that will walk through this thing with you, hand to hand, foot to foot, back to back if you need to. I'm one of those people. It is easier, and it don't feel like it, but I promise you it is. It is easier to be truthful with yourself. It is easier to be truthful with those around you than it is to eventually lose everything and everybody because you are afraid. The fear is real. Feel that. Know that. But also know there is a community that you can be a part of, that you can build, that will hold you down and hold you up. When I crossed into Alpha Pi Delta Sorority Incorporated, which is a lesbian sorority, I gained some of the most amazing black women that have been doing the dang gone thing. I have found my tribe. I have found my sister circles. I have found my best friends. Yes, I lost people. But I promise you, every one person I lost, I gained two. Sometimes I feel like I gained five, right? And it's people that understand because some of us, not I wasn't. I feel like I always knew because I always had the crush on playing the games when you're little. And then I had a crush on one girl in high school, but again, scared to throw my hand. And but I always knew my issue was the fear with with the church stuff. Like if I had did it in high school, I wouldn't have feared. No, I wouldn't have cared, right? Because I had a I don't care mentality in high school. But then when I got older, and you got people telling you what you should do and what you shouldn't do and what you can do and what's right and what's wrong and this and my God, putting the Bible into it, even though even though that's written by someone that is of the community, whether you believe it or not. And I know some of y'all ain't want to hear that. When you decide to be yourself and open your eyes and realize, one, a lot of things in the Bible was added, taken away, and the proof in it is not to go deep on this, but the proof of it is go find the lost books of the Bible. How are they lost? Who took them out? So, and when you decide to be you and know without a shadow of a doubt, and I'm telling you, without a shadow of doubt, God is love. God loves you. Your job is to love you enough to be your authentic self, to push yourself, to do what you need to do to be successful. Treat people right because that is where it gets messed up. When you live the double sided, no matter what the reason is, a lot of people will get hurt and you will lose a lot of people faster that way than you will um, being honest. All right, let me go back to my notes because don't want to go too far. Now, like I said, it is very, very lonely sometimes until you find your tribe. But it won't always be lonely. Everybody does not have to accept you. If you decide to live your truth and your church turns against you, son, daughter, sister, brother, you can create your own. You don't have to be in a building to have a relationship with God. You do not have to jump hurdles because that is people that they're trying to get you to please them. It is it is a freedom. Having the freedom to be yourself. I tell people when I have people ask questions, I'm an open book. I'm one of the people you can ask me anything you want to, and I'm gonna tell you if I'm going to answer it or if I'm not. But typically, 99.9% of the time, I'm gonna give you whatever the answer is because I've always been transparent. I always felt like if I'm transparent, you can't use nothing against me because I'm already telling my truth. I'm already telling you everything I've been through. I'm telling you what I've done. I don't mind sharing it because it's a part of who I am and it created me to be who I am today. Um, but I've had people ask questions, and some people will say, "You just look so different. You're growing so." And the growth came from. A lot of people may think it came from my wife. It didn't. The growth came from me deciding to be me. The growth came from doing the work on myself because I did have to reprogram myself. I had to reprogram my heart. I had to reprogram the way I think. I had to reprogram losing people and being okay with it. I had to get past fear. And when I tell you, when I decided to walk this journey that I absolutely have no regrets doing, the only thing I regret is how I did it. I do not regret doing it, but how I did it, absolutely. But once I decided to conquer that fear, conquering anything else became easier. I used to be afraid to be successful. I used to be afraid to try new things. When I tell you my table is full with everything I asked for, prayed for, requested, I always wanted to be on a screen. You are watching me every Thursday for the last few months on Swag Heart Magazine. I am a correspondent for Swag Heart Magazine. I am out here doing red carpets. I also have my own podcast with my partner Coco. We have been doing that for almost a year and a half. Now, it may not be the TV screen yet, but I am on a screen. I am talking and trying to coach people to be their authentic selves, to be okay with becoming, to be okay with starting over, to be okay with being free every single week on a screen. Because if you're watching me, it's either on a phone screen or it's a computer screen. But I am on a screen. And that was a dream of mine. Real estate. I I used to quit stuff as soon as I get disappointed. And I really feel that deciding to be my authentic self helped with that as well. Because I didn't need to quit because I got disappointed. I already had a whole bunch of disappointments and I got past them. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm still able to speak. I'm still able to share. I'm still able to love freely. No contracts attached. No conditions. So why not go after everything I want? Why not actually grow the hell up? Why not be myself? Why not love freely? Why not be okay to be loved? Why not? It is a great feeling. It is one of the best feelings I have ever had in my life. Now, I want to ask this question for anyone that's watching now or may watch later. What happens when everyone loves who they think you are, but nobody knows who you really are? For me, I feel like you might just be who you are. They don't gotta know until you want to tell them. But don't hurt anyone in the process of you not telling it. That is like you have. We always talk about like on social media, you can find like quotes and stuff like that, and the a lot of people that are afraid to be themselves end up um, having some of the worst regrets, health wise, because some type of way you're gonna get it has to come out. Nobody says that what's done in the dark gonna come out in the light exactly how you want it to be. It could be you getting sick. It could be your spouse finding out. It could be the person that you're dealing with that no one knows having a bad flip. We see a lot of crimes against the LGBT community, and I know that is also scary. But it's a lot of crime across the world. There is it's so much. It's so many layers, and I don't want anyone to listen to this and think that this is a force to do anything. This is just a moment for you to just simply think, sit with it. And if you need someone to talk to, because a lot of people, like my wife, we had this conversation a couple weeks ago, because she'll tell everybody she came out the closet in 1978. That's the year she was born. So for some people, when you have a level of security in yourself and you don't care what anybody thinks about you, you will not be able to understand my process. You would not be able to understand someone else's process of being afraid to be who they are because you didn't have that fear. I am telling you that I am here because I understand. I am here because I lived it. I am here because I overcame it. I am here because I was able to build the community that I want, the family that I want. I get to pick and choose who is in my circle and who is not. I get to pick and choose who I'm comfortable around and who I'm going to be around. You do not have to stay in the same area if it's holding you back from being who you are. It's people like me, and some people out here that may decided not at birth like my wife, but may have decided in their later years. It's a lot of us like me, like you, that have kids that have been with the opposite sex and now deciding that they want to be with the same sex. I'm not talking to the people that's a phase. I'm not talking to the people that then got bored with their other life, so they're trying something different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking to the people that your whole entire life you struggle with this thing. You struggle with it like it was an addiction. It's not. It's not an addiction. It's not gonna cast you nowhere. You are loved and you have permission to be yourself. And if you need to know how to have that conversation with someone that you love, whether it being parents, whether it being family, whether it being friends, whether it being a spouse, and you don't know how to start it off, I am here to help you do this. It is 2026. The world is not scary. The people in the world are scary. And with that, I know deciding to walk your true, authentic self makes it even scarier. But I'm living proof that it can be done. I'm living proof that if you do it the right way, I did it the wrong way. If you do it the right way, because even with me doing it the wrong way, I still had an okay outcome. It just took a lot of work. But if you do it the right way and have a conversation, yours will probably end so much better than even mine did. And I can't express it enough. You have people in this world that understand, that will be with you, that will walk beside you and help you through this thing. And I want to say this to you. If you're watching and you still may be hiding, maybe you're questioning, maybe you're afraid, maybe you've known for years, maybe only one person knows, maybe nobody knows. Maybe you convinced yourself that everyone else's comfort matters more than your truth. Here's what I want you to hear in this very moment. You do not need permission to be yourself, not from your family, not from society, not from strangers, not from people who refuse to understand you. Your existence is not a debate. Your humanity is not up for discussion. Your worth is not determined by someone's acceptance of you. You were worthy before they understood. You were worthy before they approved. You were worthy before they accepted. And you remain worthy even if they never do. And in closing, the real cost of hiding isn't just what you lose, it's what you never get to experience. The relationship built on honesty, the freedom of authenticity, the peace of no longer pretending, the ability to breathe fully, to laugh fully, to love fully, and most of all, to live fully fulfilled. The greatest tragedy is not that someone doesn't accept you. The greatest tragedy is spending your entire life believing you needed their permission in the first place. So tonight I'll leave you with this. Your story matters. Your identity matters. Your voice matters. Your existence matters. And whether you are out, questioning, healing, struggling, or simply trying to figure things out, know this. You do not ever need permission to be yourself. You never did, and you never will. And I want to thank every viewer for watching now and watching later. And remember, you are not alone in this. And for the whole month of June, I will be having conversations that I will hope will help someone else, that will touch topics that people are afraid to touch, and be able to have these conversations. I have a few guests coming on to help that are in the community doing this same thing, teaching and giving instruction, giving the tools that you need, because that is what life is. You have to have the tools. And yes, you have to have this. You don't have to have the support. It's good to have the support. But I promise you, in this world, you will always find someone that will support you. I believe in you. I support you as long as you're not hurting anyone in the process of whatever you're doing in life. That I can't stand by. But what I can do is stand by you to have the honest conversation, to be transparent. And then when you are ready, you will be able to have this story to change someone else's perspective, to give them a safe place to be, to give them the confidence to build to remove the insecurities, to help them realize they never ever needed permission to be who they are. The moment you are born, the moment you can make your decisions on your own, the moment you decide to do what you need to do, that is all that matters. Be you. Thank you for joining us on Swag Her Magazine, The In Between. And please, please believe me, I love you. And I want you to love yourself like you never loved yourself before. And I'm going to end with this, my motto. It is always you first and then everybody else. So be true to yourself, be honest to yourself, and be honest to those that matter the most. You don't have to be honest to the whole world, but be honest to those that matter the most. Y'all be blessed. See y'all next Thursday, and I have a very special guest.